Hey now, Steve Bennett here from the Sportscasters Podcast, 24-inch podcast corresponding with the North-South Connection. Thanks to Justin and Aaron and all the good people there for having me and letting me be a part of the tier maker list WrestleMania season. Really enjoying WrestleMania season. Of course, WrestleMania's basically end for me at 14, although I did check back in to see Hulk and Rock in Toronto. I have chucked back in now and again, like to see my man Steamboat when he was in the match against Jericho. I obviously checked back to see Hulk versus McMahon, and I've watched all the big matches since. I even watched last year to see Stone Cold come back. So even though my expertise maybe ends at 14, I didn't exactly stop watching everything at 14. But at some point along the line, I made a decision that if I was going to spend time watching wrestling, because when the network came up and I signed up for it, I tried to watch the product again. It was right around WrestleMania 30, which I did enjoy. I thought there were some good moments. But overall, as the weeks went on, I just didn't enjoy what I was watching. It just wasn't for me anymore. The time had passed me by. And since it's so easy to watch what you love now, I could never understand the people who watched the current product, which they didn't like as a hate watch. I don't have time for that. So when I watch wrestling, I watch what I love, and I love WrestleMania 1 through 14. So the guys at the North-South Connection allowed me to come on here and do a tier list for the Intercontinental Title Matches for WrestleManias 1 through 14. Now, there isn't a match in 12 because Goldust is the champ, and he's in the backyard lot, and it's not for the title. So we're going to go and get started here. I got an S tier, A tier, B tier, C tier, and F tier. I think what we'll do, though, is we won't put anything in the S until all of them are distributed. And then once we have the 13, we'll look at the A's and decide which one or two will move to the S. So I think I'll do it that way. All right, let's do it in order if we can. Let's start with WrestleMania 1. And WrestleMania 1, the Intercontinental title match, is the one mistake I think they made. It should have been Tito versus Greg the Hammer Valentine, who's the champion here. Those two guys should have had an Intercontinental title match. It would have been awesome. Instead, they split them up and continued the angle because they were still doing business as if you wanted to see these matches, you had to come out to the house shows. And I think even at WrestleMania 1, although they did do a title change in the tag match, I think at WrestleMania 1, they were still operating that way. And that's why I think they kept Tito and Greg apart. So instead, we got the Junkyard Dog in that spot, and the Dog did his best. There's a really silly finish, all convoluted, with Tito coming out from the back and just kind of telling the ref he cheated, and the ref buys that. I'm going to put it at C for now. Maybe we'll move it up to B. We'll see. It's not an F, I don't think, but I don't know that it's up to A or B standards, so we'll settle with C. WrestleMania 2 is the Battle of the Beauty and the Beast, George the Animal Steel, and Randy Savage. Now, people don't love WrestleMania 2, right, who love this era. I like WrestleMania 2, but not until you get to Chicago. A lot of the stuff in New York and the first match in Chicago is not good. And there is some George Steele, Randy Savage stuff I really enjoy, but it's more on Saturday Night's Main Event. It's not here. I don't love this match that they have against each other. I don't love the New York portion of WrestleMania 2. I don't know if it's an F. We'll come back to that. We'll put it at C for now, but it might have to go to F. We'll see. Now, WrestleMania 3, we have the greatest wrestling match of all time. So even though I said I wasn't going to do this, we're not even going to mess around. This is going to S. It's the greatest wrestling match of all time, then, now, and always. So I will have no further discussion about it. It's the greatest. It's 5 stars. It's 7 stars. It's whatever your scale goes to. It is the best piece of sports entertainment and wrestling that has ever been created. And it's going immediately to the S, even though I said I wouldn't do that. All right, let's go to WrestleMania 4. Honky Tonk Man has the belt now, which he won in Buffalo, New York in June of 87, right in front of me. I was 6 years old at the time, and I cried and cried and cried on my dad's lap, who had to bribe me with a Hulk Hogan foam finger and a plate of nachos to get me to not cry. And it kind of worked, I guess. And then Killer Khan spit green ooze in the eyes of Hulk Hogan, and I cried again. So not a huge Honky Tonk Man guy because he traumatized me and my childhood, and I don't appreciate that. He was a great Intercontinental champion, though. Really great. And he did some really great things with the belt. He was a really good heel. He had a really good run. I don't know that his WrestleMania 4 match against Beefcake was one of those great moments, though. Now, I did really like the way they structured WrestleMania 4, where they would do a round of the tournament and then they would do something else. And then they would do a round of the tournament and then they would do something else. And I am very fond of the tag title match in WrestleMania 4. And I am going to do a tier maker, by the way, for 1 through 14 tag title matches as well. And I think WrestleMania 2 and 4 will do really well on that. They don't do great here. I'm going to put it at C for now. But like I said, we might do some reshuffling of C like we will do with A. And we'll move some up and down at the end. All right, WrestleMania 5 is a really good one. Ravishing Rick Rude versus the Ultimate Warrior. The Warrior had won the belt at Madison Square Garden at SummerSlam and held it up until this point. And Rick Rude from the Heenan family was his competitor. A really good build to this match and a brilliant finish. And I can just remember Jesse saying, they outsmarted him. And just a great job on the outside by Bobby Heenan. And really good stuff here. One of the best Ultimate Warrior matches, really. The next two are Ultimate Warrior, and they're both really great. So we'll go with A for now. And then we'll shuffle again at the end, like I said. All right. The next one, WrestleMania 6. There's a debate. Is this a title match? Is it not? It was a title match, okay? It was title versus title. If Hulk would have won, he would have been walking around with the Intercontinental title belt until they decided to do whatever they did with it, which I'm sure would have been similar to what they did when Warrior won. Now, I was at WrestleMania 6 in Toronto. I live in Buffalo. It's about a 90-minute drive. I got a good report card. My dad took me. We should have stayed home, okay? Our seats were so far up in the Sky Dome that the Ultimate Warrior looked smaller than the Haiti Kid at WrestleMania 3. Okay. It took us so long to get to those seats that my little legs were burning by the time we got up there. It was unreal how far away from the ring we were. I mean, if we didn't have the worst seats of anyone that night, probably second worst. Jose Canseco absolutely crushed a ball in the Sky Dome in the playoffs against the Blue Jays. We were further away from home plate than Jose Canseco's ball ended up. We were up there. But I was able to see on the screen that the Warrior beat Hulk, pinned him, and I cried again. I'm going to put it at A for now. We'll see if it gets to S. But it was a very sad day for me, and I cried the entire way home to Buffalo. I was 9. My 24-inch podcast that I do with Hollywood Dave Rollins and my daughter Paula Bennett, we're going to cover WrestleMania 6. So if you're interested in checking out WrestleMania 6, we're going to do that. You can find the 24-inch podcast at www.soundcloud.com sports-casters, at sports_casters on Twitter, or at 24-inch podcast on Twitter. All right. What's next? WrestleMania 7. Mr. Perfect, one of my favorite Intercontinental champions, defends the title against Big Boss Man. And what we have here is a battle of the bumpers. Two of the greatest bumping wrestlers of all time. You throw Mr. Perfect into the corner, or you throw Big Boss Man into the corner, and you get awesome. And Bobby Heenan is involved here as well. This match is good, not great. I'm going to put it right at B. I think that's where it fits pretty well, at B. It feels like a B match to me, so we'll put it there. I like it. I like WrestleMania 7 a lot. Great Hulk match at the end. Some really good stuff on 7. All right, WrestleMania 8. Roddy Piper, his first singles title, beats the Mountie to win it, who had beaten Bret Hart, who was sick. Okay. And Bret gets a rematch against his friend and mentor, someone who's like family to him. And they do an unbelievable job building the match. And they really put on a great match with a great finish. And I'm going to put this in the A tier. We're going to consider it for S as well. All right. That brings us to WrestleMania 9. Okay. WrestleMania 9, not my favorite in this group. I do like the ending with Hulk. I'm a Hulk guy, so I like that a lot better than most people. Shawn Michaels has at this point given the heel kick to Marty Jannetty, thrown him through the barbershop window, become Intercontinental title holder, and he faces Tanaka. And I don't love it. We're going to put it at C for now. We'll see. One or two of these C's is going to end up down in F, I think. We'll see how nice I'm feeling. All right, number 10, WrestleMania 10. Back to MSG, and we have the Intercontinental title match, still with Shawn Michaels, Razor Ramon, a ladder match. Bret Hart said this was his idea, his match. He gave it to them, and they took it from him and used it for these guys, and they tore the house down. We'll put it at A and see if it goes to S. All right, WrestleMania 11. Razor Ramon is back. He's facing Jeff Jarrett, and it's okay. I actually rewatched it for this because I didn't really remember much about it. And geez, we'll put it at C for now. It's one of the many I don't know where I'm going, but B is going to fill up a little bit more, and we're going to get a few in F. We'll see. All right, 13. The Rock is the champion, and he has a menacing task here. And the Iron Sheik has a protege. Gets the Iron Sheik. And this is another one I had to rewatch. WrestleMania 13, I like a little bit, not a lot. I love Bret Hart versus Steve Austin. It's in my top 10 matches. It's great. If you told me it's the best match of all time, I would understand. This is not that. And I'm just going to put it in F. It's not any good. All right. The Rock is back for 14. He's with Ken Shamrock. He does an amazing promo before the match. And with Jennifer Flowers, he's great. And Ken Shamrock was really good. And this is an underrated piece of this era. And I'm going to put it right at B. All right. So let's move a couple, fill out the S and F. And I'll say this. I probably should have said at the beginning. This isn't just about the choreography or the gymnastics or the athleticism in the ring. That's just one part of what I love about wrestling, right? I probably don't like the current version of wrestling as much because it seems to be so much about the flipping and these 50-minute matches and so many false finishes and high spots. And I just don't need that. I like false finishes and I like high spots and I like good athleticism and quality work. I just don't need it at the level, and I don't need it to be the focus. I like the build. I like the promos. I like all of those things. So when I'm considering these matches, it's not just that in-ring few minutes. I'm also considering how they got there, what they did before the match that night, maybe what they did after. So let's start on the bottom in the C tier. And is there any here I want to move to F? And we have 13 total matches. So I feel like we should have about 2 S and 2 F. And then the rest should be in between there. So if we're going to put one more match in the F, which one would it be? And I'm not going to put the Macho Man in the F. I'm going to leave him at C. He's the Macho Man. Valentine and Junkyard Dog, it feels like a C match to me. Plus, it's WrestleMania 1. There's a feel out there. I don't know. Maybe we'll just move if we Beefcake and Honky Tonk. There's some good. It feels like a C again. You know what? I'm going to move this one to F. It's just too long. It's boring. I don't care about Tatanka. Shawn Michaels has many better matches. Maybe that's controversial. I don't know. But I'm going to leave it. I'm going to move that one as my 2 Fs. So 13 and 9 are F. For C, we're going to leave those. We're going to leave 1, 2, 4, and 11 at C. Now, let's look at the A and decide if we're going to move any down to B. I'm going to say right away, no. We're going to move 1 up to S. And it's this. It's the main event. It's Hulk Hogan. I'm there. It's an incredible build. Great promos. Unbelievable atmosphere in the Sky Dome. The Warriors' best match by a mile. And I would love to put this one with them, but I think 3 S's out of 13 just dilutes it a little bit. So I'm going to say it's the best A, almost like an A+. And then I'm going to put the ladder match right before that and say that Rude and Warrior is the worst of the A's. Kind of like the A- almost. It's like A+ to the left, A- to the right. And then the B tier is perfect. I think those are the B tier matches. C tier and F tier. Yeah, I mean, 1, 2, and 4 feel like C's. Now, some of you may have lowered Macho and Steel, and I could understand that, but I'm not. It's Macho Man. And again, the build, I like a lot of the stuff they were doing with George Steele and the Beauty and the Beast thing and Elizabeth and some of the Saturday Night's main event stuff they did. So with all that considered, it's above F for me. So there it is. WrestleMania 1 through 14. S to F. My opinion, I'm an 80s wrestling guy, 80s, 90s wrestling guy. And I love Hulk Hogan. And I love Ricky Steamboat versus Randy Savage. It's the best feud of all time, the best build of all time, the best match of all time. It's why there's never more than like 6 months that goes by I don't watch that match. It's that good. All right, I want to thank Justin and I want to thank Aaron from the North-South Connection for having me on. I want to encourage you to check out more if you like me for some reason at sports_casters. I want to say hi to my beautiful daughter, Paula, and I want to say Forza Azzurri. And that is all. I am out.